What's going on, Sky Gang? It's your boy Sky High back with another one. Another one. It is Friday, um, April 16th, I believe. Let's talk about the fallout after Mania. Monday Night Raw begins with, Lashley coming out to the ring, still your WWE champion. You know, MVP's gloating him, praising him, and all that. On top of that, we had Drew McIntyre come out, and he wanted his rematch, of course. But Bobby Lashley and MVP basically told him, hey, go to the back of the line. You know what I'm saying? You had your chance, right? So then, Braun Strowman and Randy Orton came out and pretty much demanded that they needed a shot because Braun beat Shane and he felt like he wants to move on to other things. Randy Orton beat The Fiend at Mania, so he feels like he want to move on to other things. So, you know what I'm saying? They all feel like they deserve a shot. So Adam Pearce comes out and sets up a triple threat match for Raw. And whoever wins is the number one contender for WrestleMania Backlash. These pay-per-view names are getting sadder and sadder. I'ma tell you what. WrestleMania Backlash. Look, Backlash back in the day used to be lit. It used to be one of the top pay-per-views from the early days of 2000s. But WrestleMania Backlash, alright, whatever. So moving on from that, Bobby Lashley, you know what I'm saying, he has to see who becomes his number one contender for his title at the pay-per-view. So Randy Orton, Braun Strowman, and Drew McIntyre fight in a triple threat match. And how it goes is Drew McIntyre wins, so once again he gets an opportunity. That's basically how that goes. So at WrestleMania Backlash, Drew McIntyre will fight Bobby Lashley once again for the WWE title. But at the end of that match, the two Retribution members, I can't remember their names. It's something stupid like Razor and something. It's the one with the dreads, and the other dude is the big dude from NXT, Dijakovic. That's it. So those two come out and attack McIntyre after the match. And then it ends as those two are getting out the ring. MVP is standing at the top of the ramp. So it looks like Dijakovic and the other dude from Retribution are the new members of the Hurt Business, maybe? I don't know. We'll find out more about that next week. That was kind of weird. I don't know what that was about. So, another thing that happened on Raw, Bobby Lashley went against Matt Riddle. It all started from like a backstage segment where Riddle was basically saying how Bobby Lashley was claiming to be this fighting champion. But Matt Riddle wanted to step up to the plate. He was calling out Bobby Lashley, talking about how he told the roster a few weeks ago to step up and get their shot. So, Matt Riddle, you know what I'm saying, he stepped up. He had the match with Lashley. Not to mention he just lost his United States title, which sucks, right? And he lost to Lashley. Lashley choked him out, and then they bullied him pretty much. Bobby Lashley won with the Hurt Lock. That was just kind of like a squash match, really. Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin had a tag team match with unannounced opponents, which would later be the Viking Raiders coming back. From one of them was injured, I believe. One of them was injured, so they came back, and they looked pretty strong. I mean, not a big return for the Raw after WrestleMania, but I'm happy to see them back. They were dominating NXT, but they were made to look like a joke on the main roster. But that's just how it goes. There's nothing too big there. So the Viking Raiders beat Cedric and Shelton just to show their dominance in, the tag team division. Going up again. Welcome back, Viking Raiders. I mean, like I said, not a strong comeback for the Raw after WrestleMania, but, Charlotte returns out of nowhere. Well, not out of nowhere. We all knew she was coming back. She comes back and basically cuts this promo of how, like, how, like, the wrestling world is talking about how, oh, she doesn't deserve another championship. She gets way too many shots at being on top. She's always the face of something. She's at every WrestleMania. But she wasn't at the last WrestleMania. She wasn't at Sunday's WrestleMania, right? So she cuts a promo talking about how she is the opportunity. And every woman in the division is basically has to have their shot with her to be on top. It was a great promo. She just came out there talking shit like her father. You know what I'm saying? So then Asuka and Rhea Ripley had a rematch for the title for Mania night. And Rhea Ripley is the champion, of course. So they're fighting, Asuka and Rhea Ripley. Great match, by the way. Charlotte comes out of nowhere and beats them both to end the match in the disqualification. So WrestleMania Backlash, trash. We're probably going to get a triple threat match or something like that, right? That should have been a Mania match. Look, I love Charlotte. I love what Charlotte does. But, WWE just tries to shove her down our throats. You feel me? But I wouldn't be mad that she's in this triple threat match at WrestleMania Backlash. Trash. I'm doing that every time. It's just trash name, bro. It's just a trash name. Other than that, Alexa Bliss has her own little playground. She's basically saying she's split from the Fiend. And she's her own dark entity. And she has a new puppet named Lily. Because she turned on the Fiend. She's talking about how she's had the darkness in her all the time. She just needed somebody to wake it up. So now she's her own person now. I don't know where this goes. I have no idea. And then, Bray Wyatt returned also as regular Bray Wyatt on his Funhouse. And he's talking about he finally feels back to himself. And, he feels bad that he let Alexa, or they were calling her, get into his head. And he feels like his old self again. And he said that he will return stronger and better than ever. I don't know where this story is going either. Just when I think I have this Fiend story figured out, they do some shit that makes me like, I don't even know. It just makes me like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Because at WrestleMania, I didn't see Alexa Bliss turning on the Fiend. That shit was wild. I honestly think Bray's brother, Bo Dallas, should have been involved in this this whole thing, but I guess not. We'll get to that a little later, and I'll tell you why he's not involved in this. We'll get to that. Miz and John Morrison did a handicap match with Damian Priest. Nothing new there. The Miz's wife was a special guest. It ended by like Damian Priest, the Miz winning, and he was like half naked or some shit. It was stupid. Let me remind you, this is the Raw after WrestleMania. Sad. Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler went against Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke. They beat them. That's just a throw-together match. Nothing major there either. I really don't see Dana and Mandy taking the belts from Nia Jax and Shayna. That's just that. So I don't know. Basically, it ended when Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke choose to leave the ring, and they were counted out or some shit. It was just like, I don't know. It was just diabolical. The New Day went against Elias and Jackson Riker, and the New Day won, of course. I don't know. This storyline is just random. It's like WWE's just throwing shit together at this point. So I don't even know where do they go from here. And that's basically all the Raw. You know what I mean? There was no big returns. Becky Lynch was supposed to return at Mania. They squashed that. She didn't return at Raw after Monday. Monday at night, Raw after Mania. Ronda Rousey didn't return like they had speculated. Brock Lesnar didn't return like speculated. There was really no call-ups to from NXT on Raw. We just had basically one return, two returns, Charlotte and the Viking Raiders. This is the weakest WrestleMania Raw, the night after WrestleMania Raw I've ever seen. It was just sad. Complete shit. You understand me? But, I guess, man, it was a trash Raw. It was really trash. I couldn't, sit there and, think to myself, oh, my God, this is what we follow up with after Mania? Especially after that ending of Mania? Y'all pull this bullshit? WWE, I'm going to need for you to get it together. Simple and plain as that. You know what I mean? Because that shit was garbage. Okay? So now, let's get into NXT. So, NXT was a very strong show this week. Started off with your new NXT champion, Karrion Kross, who was dominant at TakeOver against Finn Balor. Shout out to Finn Balor, he did his thing. But Karrion Kross just dominated. He came out, cut a promo that he's willing to take on everybody in the WWE, not only from NXT for his belt. He promises a lengthy reign at the top. And he said, the thing that captured me is he was like, usually they say the only way from the top is the bottom. And he was like, good luck trying to knock him off the top. I really don't know who else could fight Karrion right now. Because old boy's on fire. He just regained a title that he never lost. He's doing his thing. Also on NXT, we had the NXT Tag Team Championships on the line with MSK and Killian Dane and Drake Maverick. MSK put their titles on the line against Drake Maverick and Killian Dane. It was a good match, good back and forth. They were close. Killian Dane and Maverick was close, but MSK pulled it off with that move that they did. That push off moonsault, the push off moonsault or 460, or what is it? I think it's a push off moonsault. They picked up the W, got retained the belts. At the end of that match, Imperium comes down and basically beats down Killian Dane and Maverick. Alexander Wolf and Killian have history from being in Sanity, so I guess that's the next feud for them. Not a bad feud. I like that. Then Mercedes Martinez versus Jesse Kama from the Robert Stone Committee. And Mercedes won, of course. It was just a quick, dominant match for Mercedes to show how powerful she is. But after that match, she came over to the announce table. She slapped the table and she said, Gonzalez, I'm coming for you next. So Mercedes is looking for a women's championship match. I'm not mad at it, because Mercedes has been in the game for a long time. She definitely knows what she's doing. You know what I mean? Then we had Santos Escobar, who won that amazing ladder match at TakeOver against Devlin to retain his Cruiserweight title. He did an open challenge match on NXT to just to show that he's a fighting champion. And before he could even say who wants to come out and fight him for his championship, this man Kushida comes out of nowhere and he just marches right down to the ring. And great match, by the way. Those two really put on the show. Probably my match of the night for me, personally. Kushida, he had a couple of close counters and early on, and then Escobar, he's a fighting champion, kicked out of so many threes, almost tapped out. But in the end, Kushida beat Escobar by pinfall. And his first night back as reigning champion, Escobar loses his title to Kushida. And, excuse me, Kushida really deserves this belt. He's came a long way from New Japan all the way here. And, I feel like he should have the NXT title more, but I'll take the Cruiserweight title as his first belt. So he won the belt on the first night after TakeOver, after Escobar was in a ladder match to fight for it. So in the back, he was in the back celebrating. Devlin comes up, and he's like, well, you know what I'm saying, you're lucky I have to leave because congratulations to the champion, but he said he'll be back for that. So it looks like it'll be Kushida versus Devlin at some point, which I'll be ready for that. I'll definitely be ready for that. So Raquel Gonzalez, she's having a championship celebration. I really like this. Because she came out with Dakota Kai. Dakota Kai introduced her, and I feel like Dakota Kai is going to be the reason she loses that belt at some point. But shout out to Gonzalez because she worked really hard to get where she was. While she was celebrating Monette, what is her name? Hold on. Frankie Monet came out, which is Taya Valkyrie. She's on NXT now. And she's basically saying she's here to take what Raquel has, the title. She didn't stay long. She just came out to make her appearance known and show everybody, hey, I'm here at NXT. And then she left, right? So then, Gonzalez is getting her praise and talking, and doing all of this. And Rhea Ripley's music hits. And as you know, she's the Raw Women's Champion. She comes down, congratulates Gonzalez. Then Bianca Belair music hits. And she comes down and congratulates. And she's the SmackDown Women's Champion. So she comes down and congratulates Gonzalez. Also, now if you didn't know, those three really came into business the same time. They train together. They work hard together. This is like the next evolution. You feel me? The next women's revolution. First, it was Becky, Sasha, and Charlotte. Now, as a different time, right now, this is like the second version of the Four Horsemen, or the Three Horsewomen. So now, it's Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, and Gonzalez, because they came up together like Becky, Charlotte, and Sasha. So this is like the second version of the Three Horsewomen, and now they're all champions. They're running all three brands, and it was just a big moment with them standing there posing with all their belts together, because it shows how hard they work. I love that moment. It was great. It was a great thing. I give that an A. Another thing, Adam Cole, they showed like an extra from TakeOver when Adam Cole and O'Reilly was getting carried out in stretchers. And they was like going to the same hospital beside each other. And Adam Cole was like laying on the stretcher just cussing Riley out, calling him this and that. And telling him that this is not over. And they're like, the irony of it is like they're riding into the hospital beside each other. And Adam Cole is like riled up. So by a long shot, this is not over. After that match they had at TakeOver, what else can they do? What else can they do, bro? They're going to have to kill each other. They're going to have to basically have a Tommaso Ciampa and Gargano match to top this feud. So I don't know what's going to happen with that. I'm definitely going to keep my eyes peeled. Okay. That's definitely going to be good. We also had Leon Ruff versus Isaiah Swerve Scott. And basically Isaiah was like, this is it. After he beats Leon, he's moving on. And it was great. I love that match. Because Swerve and Ruff, Leon Ruff was kind of for me. But he's growing on me, man. He's really showing me he's a real athlete. Swerve, that's no-brainer. If you've seen his work in Lucha Underground as Deadshot, or Killshot, excuse me, then he comes to put in work. So, that was a good match. Very good match. Swerve won. He beat Ruff, but while he was in the back celebrating his victory, talking about it's over, Ruff comes back and he says it's not over until he says it's over. And Ruff attacks Swerve and beat the hell out of him, basically. So the story continues for that. I guess it's not over. You know what I mean? The main event of that, NXT was Dexter Lumis, Bronson Reed, Ember Moon, and Shotzi versus The Way. It was a good main event match. Reed and Lumis and Moon and Blackheart won the match. Indy, what's her name? Oh God, what is her name? Indy Hartwell. She kept distracting Dexter Lumis. She has a crush on Dexter, so she would fall out and like want Dexter to resuscitate her with a kiss or something like that. And then Johnny Gargano broke it up a few times, and then she got mad and threw one of her tag team partners out of the ring. And she fell down again in front of Dexter, and Dexter picked her up and took her to the back. And like she looked back at the camera and winked her eye and threw her thumb up, like, yeah, she finally got what she want. So that's a whole other story building on. She's got a crush on Dexter, as weird as that is. But I love Dexter Lumis. I feel Dexter Lumis should be the North American champion right now, but they hold him. So, it is what it is with that. And what's his name? Oh man, Austin Theory. Austin Theory is gonna be real big in this company one day. I'm gonna tell you that. That man is athletic as hell. He might be NXT champion one of these days. But him being in the way, it's kind of corny. Johnny Gargano and them, the way is kind of funny. Johnny Gargano has graduated to a very comedy act type wrestler, which I'm not really mad at because it's all good. On top of that though, like NXT was a great show. That was the ending to NXT. NXT had a better show than the Raw after WrestleMania. I say again, NXT on Tuesday had a better show than the Raw after WrestleMania. It was solid. Storylines progressed. It shows you what could happen next, who's gonna step up to the plate. Like it makes you want to tune in the next week on Tuesday. Raw was just complete. You don't know. Like it was just like they was in the room writing a script and writing what's gonna happen, and they was just like, let's just throw something together. This is an off day. Hopefully Raw gets better. Right now NXT is leading the WWE thing. It's no competition. Now, SmackDown, I don't know, because with Edge losing and he didn't get his title like everybody wanted him to, Roman Reigns still the dominant champion. I'm probably gonna have to peep this. That's just that. I'm really looking forward to what's, the up-and-coming superstars. Oh, I did forget one thing for NXT. Roderick Strong basically turned in his contract to William Regal as if he's done with NXT. So maybe we see Roderick Strong on Raw or SmackDown. He's coming up to the main roster. I don't know. It's a possibility. And while I'm on the subject of WWE, no, I'm going to save that for another video. I'm going to save that. So, we're going to move on to AEW. Okay. fucking W. Man, oh man, do I love AEW right now. Let's drop right into the review for the April 14th edition of AEW. The war between Inner Circle and the Pinnacle is getting to me, man. First of all, in May, we're going to get Blood and Guts, whatever that pay-per-view is called. It's going to be the Pinnacle versus the Inner Circle in a War Games match. Bruh. That shit's going to be special. It's going to be special. It's going to be a lot of blood. It's going to be kind of extreme. But we'll get to that in a minute. The AEW Tag Team Championships was on the line between the Young Bucks and Death Triangle. If you don't know who Death Triangle is, it's Pac and Rey Fenix Jr. Man, oh man, what a match. What a match. That shouldn't have been on free TV. That should have been on pay-per-view. Those two teams have great chemistry. Great chemistry. Pac is very underrated. Rey Fenix is like the next Rey Mysterio. Yes, I said it, so what? Kill me. You know what I'm saying? Rey Fenix is definitely the next Rey Mysterio. And the Young Bucks is the Young Bucks. I don't have to say anything about them. They're dominant. Great match between those two. A lot of high-flying spots. There was one spot where they both did like a reverse hurricanrana to each other outside the ring. But it was like one team. Like Ray did it on Nick. And, it was check it out. It was a cool spot. They did reverse DDTs, and then they looked at each other on the team, and they was like, oh, it was like a mirror image, split image. You know what I'm saying? But of course, the Young Bucks retain, because right now the Young Bucks are dirty. You know what I mean? They're back to that New Japan Young Bucks with Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers. They're dirty. So they took off Rey Fenix's mask and super kicked him, and they retained the titles. You know what I mean? It was Jesus Christ. Pac with a damn hoisted deadlift German suplex with Phoenix kick to the face. Like it was extreme. But what is it called? I'm looking for the move they did when they did it's called the Stereo Poison Ranas. So Phoenix and Nick did the move at the same time. Nick did it on Pac and Phoenix did it on Matt. And then they stopped and looked at each other. It was a great spot. Check it out. Moving on from that, we had Red Velvet versus Jade Cargill. Jade is a monster, bro. Like, she's built and cut up. Like, she's ripped. She went against Red Velvet, who kind of looks like Brandy now that I think about it. Brandy Rose. Cargill defeated Velvet, of course. That was really just a quick match. Quick squash match. It was okay. Velvet had, like, she was energetic. She had her moments where I thought she was going to win. But Jade's just too damn strong, bro. Because, like, I don't know. She just has too much power. She just has too much power, bro. She's going to be AEW Women's Champion one day. Then we had that Anthony Ogo versus Cole Carter. And, as you know, QT Marshall has his own. The thing about AEW, they have their own gang now. Like, own affiliations on some New Japan, type shit. So, QT Marshall broke from the Nightmare Club with Cody Rhodes and started his own club, as you've seen a couple weeks ago when him and his club dominated the Nightmare Collective of Cody Rhodes and his brother and the rest of them. So he has this dude named Anthony Gogo, and he's like a boxer, and he went against Carter. Really wasn't even a match. He came in the ring, squashed him with like 2 punches, and he was out cold. They ended the match. So basically, that's just showing like how QT Marshall is building up his squad to be something dominant. Like I said, AEW is something about squads. You know what I mean? And it's on some New Japan stuff. So then we get to Chris Jericho versus Dax Hardwood with Mike Tyson as the special enforcer. Shout out to Mike, bro. Chris Jericho has made Mike Tyson's part of the Inner Circle, which I found kind of weird, considered that Mike Tyson punched him out one Monday night. It was on Monday Night Raw, but they always say one Monday night. Before this, at the beginning of AEW, MJF tried to pay Mike Tyson to, throw the match into the Pinnacle's favor, to Dax's favor, but Mike Tyson wasn't taking that too lightly. He actually ripped up the check, balled it up, ripped it up, and then ate it right in front of this man and spit it in his face. It was it looked like it was off script, but it was good either way. It was kind of weird. Dax Hardwood actually lost to Jericho, and Mike Tyson actually punched Dax's partner. What's his name? Wheeler? I think his last name's Wheeler on here, on AEW. He knocked him out cold. He hit him with that WrestleMania Shawn Michaels punch that he did on Shawn Michaels back when Shawn Michaels was going against Stone Cold. He knocked him out cold. So right now, the Inner Circle's up right now against the Pinnacle. And as the weeks go by before this War Games match, I feel like it's going to be a complete build-up war because AEW really knows how to build up a storyline. Not going to lie about that. Couple of other things that happened. Chris Statlander came back to go against Amber Nova. Statlander, of course, defeated Nova. And this match was all about just rebuilding Statlander back to that energetic, you know what I'm saying, ring technician that she is. And just building up her character again because, as you know, she was out with injury. But she's back now, so I guess they're just trying to build her back up as a top-tier woman wrestler. Then we had the Falls Count Anywhere for the TNT Championship match. For the TNT Championship with Darby Allin going against Matt Hardy. Man, oh man. So, this match was just out of control. You know, you had the Hardy family come out. The Hardy family officers, like Private Party, the Butcher and Blade, and everybody, they came out to interrupt the match. The Dark Order came out and made the save with Sting. It was all over the place. They took out Matt's Private Party. It's like this thing with the Dark Order and Matt Hardy. It's like becoming like their own war by in itself. And Hangman Page is basically looking like the leader of the Dark Order. And it's weird. Cause like, I don't know. It was like a lot of people involved. Hold on, let me just see who. So then Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky comes down, try to attack Sting from behind for reasons that I don't even know. And then Lance Archer came down, and I don't know. It was a lot. It was just a lot going on. It was like half the roster came up. And, you know, Darby Allin defeated Hardy. It was a lot of table spots. You know what I'm saying? It was a lot of hardcore. You know, Darby Allin's a complete daredevil, so it's really not nothing he can't do, you feel me? It was a wild, chaotic arena brawl. Like, that's exactly what it was. It was fun to watch. I would definitely watch it again. The Hardy family came down, like I said, and Dark Order basically chased them back into the locker room area. Sting comes down, he hands... this is after Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page come down to try to attack Sting, and then Lance Archer comes down and interferes with that, and then Sting hands Darby Allin his bat, and that's basically, he takes care of everything else. But other than that, let me just double check. That was the main event, by the way. But to me, Darby Allin's becoming that Sting character. You know what I'm saying? He's becoming the forefront like Sting was in WCW back in the day. So I see Darby Allin as the Sting of today for AEW. Basically. And that's how he's carrying himself. You know, he's an enigma. Nobody knows much about him. He doesn't talk much. When he does, it's very short. He basically does anything. Only difference is Darby Allin is a little bit more crazy than Sting when it comes to spots. Like, he'll literally do anything, put his body through anything. It doesn't matter. He loves pain. So it was a very strong AEW. Not too strong. It was another thing about Rusev, or what is his name on there? I'm gonna call him Rusev. He's looking for championship gold now, and he's about to break split from Kip. So I don't know. He definitely is going to be a great champion one day because they hold this man in WWE for sure. They definitely hold him. Other than that, that was the week in wrestling. Not too much. SmackDown is tonight. I don't know if I'm going to watch that, though. Another thing to check out is I don't know, I probably said this in the last video, that Chris Jericho Stone Cold podcast on the network, beautiful. Beautiful. It was very entertaining. I could actually sit there for 2 hours, watch it with no interruptions. It was great. They talked about past memories that they've had together. They talked about where Chris Jericho started in 93 or in 1990, one of those, and it basically went through the whole timeline of his career, his evolution, what's going on today, how he got involved with AEW, Tony Khan, Cody Rhodes. You know, they talked about Kenny Omega. They talked about everything. They talked about everything. It was perfect. One of the top Broken Skull sessions I've seen. Like, close to the Undertaker's. There's Undertaker's, Jericho's, and the Orton's. Now, the next guest that I want to see Austin have on his podcast is The Rock, John Cena, and Triple H. Has he has Triple H? I don't think he has Triple H. Those three I would definitely like to see. Most definitely like to see on there. Because, especially The Rock, because The Rock and Austin have had, like, their rivalry was just something special. To this day, then when they do, like, stare downs at each other, you can feel that electricity of, like, man, these guys used to go at it. And him and Triple H, same thing. Same thing. Stone Cold's top feud for me, top 3 feuds was probably the Rock, Vince McMahon, and Triple H, most definitely. But other than that, that's all I got for the weekend wrestling review. Trying to think about some other stuff. I have another video coming out about the WWE releases that they just did, which pisses me the fuck off. But we'll get into that later. I'm Sky. I'm going to holler at y'all later. Y'all have a blessed day. This is the Weekend Wrestling Review.